what's up with it? You watching the Big Bomber TV. And yeah, we about to check out this video from the YouTube channel Thing Trap. And the title is The Game Lies Compilation from 50 to Dre. Nobody trusts him. Yeah, man, that's a fool with it, man. And yeah, man, I really don't blame dudes for not trusting the game, man. Yeah, man, he definitely done flipped on a few dudes, man. You know, 50 gave him them hits. He flipped on 50. But then he started working with Kanye and then this Dr. Dre, you know what I mean? Then he started going at Eminem. Yeah, man, the game definitely seemed like a shady dude. Another thing, too, man, he had sided with Drake over Diddy, but I could have sworn he lived with Diddy for like 2 years, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, even though Diddy ain't a good look right now, I think he should have owed them some kind of loyalty or something, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, I don't know what they was doing for them 2 years, but he was staying with him though, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, I haven't checked out the video, don't completely know what they talking about, but let's check it out and see what they talking about.
Very extra, like he lied. Everybody know he lied. But they be good lies though.
They do be good lies.
They
like
be like
what?
great
the Tupac
lies.
picture.
That was one of the best lies ever.
Problems of the industry is there's a lot of snakes in it. Game was a snake that won.
The game's been spinning stories that just don't line up, and the wildest part is not fans calling him out, it's rappers themselves.
Extravagant lies we've ever heard in our lives on this episode.
I'm with you.
This is going to be
From saying he wrote 50 Cent's What Up Gangsta to posting a fake pic with Tupac and even throwing shade at Dr. Dre, the same man who gave him his shot. It kicks off with one of his boldest flexes, claiming he wrote part of What Up Gangsta.
Why? You photoshopped yourself on someone else and put a picture out with you and Pac. It's Pac, but it's not you.
If you know rap,
I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of funny because What Up Gangsta do sound like a gangbanger song a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So like they were saying, man, it was a good lie for sure though. With the song lyrics, it do seem like it could have been a possibility for real.
Rap history, you already know how wild that sounds. That track wasn't just another joint. It opened Get Rich or Die Trying, the album that made 50 feel untouchable. To say you had a hand in that, you better come with receipts.
Yes.
You heard him say Kanye did more for me in the last 2 weeks than Dr. Dre did my entire career, right?
When asked, 50 didn't just shut it down. He laughed. His whole vibe said, "Are you serious?" For him, that joint was pure him, his pen, his raw energy, his baby. And Tony, who was right there in the studio, made it even clearer. You didn't write nothing. Sharp, cold, and direct. So why does this matter so much? Because according to 50, Game's entire rise only happened through him.
What Up Gangsta?
I didn't write What Up Gangsta for 50. I was in there and part of the influence.
And Dre picked the beats. 50 wrote the hooks, and G-Unit sprinkled features all over the documentary. Even classics like Hate It or Love It and How We Do. Those were 50's tracks first. Dre's ear, 50's pen, and G-Unit's cosign gave Game his credibility and put him on the map. That's why when Game tried to twist history, acting like he shaped 50's work or didn't need those cosigns, it came off like disrespect, especially to legends like 50 and Dre, who guard their legacies heavy.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. Out here in the Bay, though, man, I definitely heard of the game before the game came out. Yeah, man, I think Jake T, the bigger figure, man, put a lot of work in for the game, man, for real. And without Dr. Dre, I think the game possibly could have really made it still, but I don't think he would have been a huge artist as he is, though, you know what I mean? But the game was rocking the underground for a minute, though, for real, though. He had a big buzz, man.
That's why those claims hit so hard. It wasn't just fans rolling their eyes. It was the very people who built Game shutting him down in public.
You're gonna come for 3 days. That's all I read. What was it like?
And that's where people started thinking, if he stretched the truth here, what else has he been bending? Which leads straight into one of the most infamous parts of his story, the night he got shot. For years, Game has told the tale of being shot inside his own home. But depending on which version you catch, it feels less like memory and more like a movie script.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, bro. He wasn't even around when we did that. Like, that was before you even came into the picture. Like, that's Get Rich or Die Trying. He didn't even
come into after that.
Yeah, we didn't even know.
The main story goes like
this.
Back in 2001, he was ambushed, hit multiple times, slipped into a coma, then woke up ready to chase rap. On the surface, it's a redemption arc. The streets nearly take you out, but music saves you. The issue? The details never stay locked in. Sometimes Game says 5 shots, other times 7. One version has him bleeding on the floor for hours. Another says his brother rushed in right away. Even the coma keeps changing. Sometimes it's 3 days, sometimes it's weeks. And while nobody questions that he was really shot, hospital records back that up. When the story keeps shifting, it feels less like truth and more like theater.
I ain't gonna lie, man. It make you wonder, like, was Whack 100 around? Because you know Whack 100 be with the line and stuff. So yeah, maybe he got the line from him or something. It ain't no telling if he was like in the background telling them the lie or something. You know what I mean? I'm talking about he rolled What Up Gangsta was an unbelievable lie on, for real.
Fans caught on quick and the contradictions became impossible to ignore. Take his lyric, I woke up out the coma, 2001. Problem is, Dre's album 2001 dropped in 1999. The timeline just doesn't line up. And when your whole image is built on being authentic, slip-ups like that are cracks that everyone sees.
He did have work, was music that I made with Dre, not with Game release. How We Do, Hate It or Love It, Church for Thugs, Special, Higher, West Side Story.
Even Joe Budden had jokes, pointing out how the story magically changed every time Game retold it. To critics, it wasn't about doubting the shooting itself, it was about him exaggerating, trying to mirror 50 Cent's legendary 9-shot survival story. And that's the bigger problem. When
I ain't gonna lie, I say he still made great songs with those lyrics and stuff, though. You know what I mean? I think hip hop should be creative, you know what I'm saying, with the stories and everything like that. And I don't think every story should be accurate or nothing like that either. Sometimes being too real in the rap game will get you indicted, arrested, and everything. So I think people should value storytelling a little more, you know what I mean?
your personal story becomes your brand, every inconsistency makes people question everything else you've ever claimed. By this point, Game already had 2 strikes against him, inflating his role in 50's rise and stretching the truth about his own near-death story. But what came next? That one blew the roof off, because this time, he came at the man who built his career, Dr. Dre. You'd think after all that backlash, Game would step careful. But instead, he dropped one of his wildest takes, comparing Dre to Kanye West. He said, "It's crazy that Ye did more for me in the last 2 weeks than Dre did for me my whole career." For fans and industry insiders, that wasn't just a spicy quote, it was pure betrayal. Because love him or hate him, one thing is facts. Dr. Dre was the architect of Game's whole career from the start. Never forget, Dre signed him to Aftermath in 2003, gave him production, guidance, and most importantly, the positioning that guaranteed him shine.
Because it's that Ye did more for me in the last 2 weeks than Dre did for me my whole career. And it's not, it's just.
Alongside Jimmy Iovine, Dre lined him up with 50 and G-Unit, handing him mainstream visibility on a silver platter. The payoff? The documentary, 5 times platinum, Grammy nods, and a permanent place in hip-hop history. None of that happens without Dre. That's why the backlash hit instantly. Tony wasted no time saying, "You have a career because of Dr. Dr." You even said, "What am I without a Dre track?" So how do you disrespect him like that?
Time Dre dropped 2001. Game lyric, right?
Yeah, that was the lyric.
Are you about to tell me that 2001 didn't come out in 2001?
It did not.
Came out in 99.
To Yayo and plenty of fans, Game's words weren't just wild, they were flat out ungrateful. So why even say it? A lot of people point straight to the 2022 Super Bowl halftime show. Dre, Snoop, Eminem, Kendrick, even 50 all blessed the stage for a legendary moment. But Game left out. At first, he played it cool. Later, though, he admitted the snub stung deep. To many, that Kanye did more for me line sounded less like truth and more like pain spilling out. But the damage was already done.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie though, man. He did burn everybody that was on that stage. Probably not Mary J, but yeah, he burnt Dre, he burnt 50, and he burnt M. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, he been going around burning bridges, man, for real though.
Even when he tried to clean it up, blaming alcohol and calling Dre a blessing, the stain stuck. In hip hop, once you throw dirt on a legend, especially your mentor, those words don't fade. To fans, this was another crack in his image. First 50, then the shaky shooting story. Now Dre, piece by piece, his survivor vibe was being replaced with someone rewriting history. And then it got worse. Trying to keep his West Coast stamp alive, Game leaned heavy on Tupac's legacy.
He's hurt. See, in hip hop, we very rarely do we look past the.
Suddenly, a Photoshop pic of him and Pac started making the rounds. At first, some thought it was rare gold, but the internet's eyes are sharp, shadows off, chains copied, proportions twisted. Within hours, it was exposed as fake. What was meant as a tribute turned into comedy. Blogs clowned it, fans called him out for forcing a connection. Even hardcore Pac loyalists felt insulted. To them, Pac wasn't just an icon, he was sacred. One fan nailed it. If Pac was alive, he wouldn't need Photoshop. Instead of proving his place in West Coast history, Game came off desperate.
Photoshop yourself on someone else and put a picture out with you and Pac. It's Pac, but it's not you.
And the timing couldn't have been worse. Right after the Dre fallout, his credibility was already shaky. That Photoshop stunt only made the doubts louder. But here's the twist. Not every move Game made was about capping or beat. Some were pure survival, chasing relevance in a cutthroat game, and that chase pulled him out of Dre's shadow, past Pac's ghost, and straight into the orbit of two heavyweights, Kendrick Lamar and Eminem. And with Game, feuds ain't side notes, they define his whole career, which brings us right to Kendrick. On Black Boy Fly, Kendrick showed nothing but respect. Game once showed love to Kendrick, even standing by as Snoop Dogg passed the torch, a symbolic moment that crowned the next generation of West Coast hip-hop.
I ain't gonna lie, the craziest thing about this, the Game really could have been like after Pac for the West Coast, you know what I mean? As the other huge artist, you know what I'm saying? Especially if he kept selling like he did with the documentary, he definitely would have been like after Pac, you know what I mean? It all come down to character though, man. You know what I mean? He got bad character, just burning dudes everywhere he go, and he burned them to the point where nobody don't want to deal with him no more, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, there's issues with Dr. Dre being going back though. Doctor's Advocate or something like that, you know, and I don't think Dr. Dre was giving them no beats or nothing. I think Dre probably wasn't making beats or something at that time or something. Yeah, he didn't get a Game, no beats, and the Game was kind of mad at that. He was like throwing little sneak disses out there too, man. So I think it was a little friction between them way before the Kanye West situation, for real though.
They worked on tracks, rock shows together, and for a while, Game looked like the perfect bridge between eras, but respect alone never seemed to be enough. Soon, whispers spread that he was downplaying Kendrick's skills, whether from competition, envy, or just hunger for that spotlight. Sound familiar? It should, because the same cycle played out with Eminem.
Rapper that nobody ever wants a problem with, including myself, man. Eminem is like the most lyrically insane. Even when I was going at 50 and me and Dre wasn't seeing eye to eye, man, I stayed away from the.
At first, Game praised him like crazy, calling him the only rapper nobody wants a problem with, and even admitting, I used to think Eminem was better than me. But years later, the tone switched. Suddenly, he was challenging M to a versus, downplaying his relevance, and tossing disses that felt more like clout moves than real beef. That flip from admiration to rivalry pretty much shaped his story with both Kendrick and M. During Kendrick's feud with Drake, Game sided with Drake, calling him his brother, and skipped Kendrick's West Coast Unity show completely. And when Kendrick joined Dre, Snoop, and Eminem on the 2022 Super Bowl halftime stage, Game was left off again. He admitted it cut deep, even calling Kendrick a safe pick. His diss at Eminem was supposed to light up the culture, but M didn't even flinch. He brushed it off on IG Live while fans laughed, saying Game was forcing drama.
He's not. Hey, challenge it.
Game, you don't want to go versus against
Yes,
Eminem.
I do. What do you mean? Yeah, I do.
More and more.
I ain't gonna lie, to think about him, man. He got crazy fans, man, and the fans will destroy you theyself, man. So if you go on that M, man, you gotta have an army of fans that's gonna support you already off the top. You know what I mean? And them fans ain't no joke, man, for real though. And I'm personally an Eminem fan, you know what I mean? But then like some albums I think wasn't that hot, you know what I mean? And if I speak on it, man, I start getting attacked by other fans. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, I'm a fan too. I just didn't like this project. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, them Eminem fans will destroy you they self, like for real, though.
Or people started claiming Game had a pattern. He'd show respect, twist it into rivalry, then stir controversy just to stay in the mix. Sometimes it hit, sometimes it backfired, but it always made him look like he was battling his own need for relevance. Then came a new low. Rapper Spar called him out, saying he paid for a feature but never got it. A fan piled on saying, Game charging $4,000 for a verse, bro is down bad. To a lot of people, this didn't look like the same Game who once stood proud as Compton's hero. It looked like a rapper hustling to survive, not pushing the culture forward. Every accusation only widened the gap between his glory days and now.
For a verse. So I made a beat for him to rap over, and he was going to record a verse and then send it back to me for $4,000. I thought it was legit because I previously paid him to post one of my new songs in his store.
Whether you see it as business or desperation, one thing was obvious. The man who once embodied Compton pride was now being doubted in ways nobody expected. And if shaky credibility, loyalty issues, and beefs weren't already heavy enough, another habit he never shook came back in focus, one that haunted him for years. Name dropping. The twist, Game once swore he didn't need it. And that's the point where most rappers start losing patience. The Game built a whole reputation off dropping big names. Dre, 50 Cent, Eminem, Pac, you name it. At first, it came off like respect. A hungry kid from Compton saluting the giants who inspired him. But over time, that respect turned into a pattern and eventually a punchline.
To name drop, right?
I don't need to. You want to know why? You want to know why I
forget what it was.
Fans and rappers alike noticed. The memes popped off, the jokes spread, and instead of standing tall as his own legend, he started looking like he was leaning on others. Game sometimes gave off the vibe that he relied on the weight of those names just to stay relevant. That's where the energy shifted. People started asking, was he really carving out his own lane or forever living in the shadows of bigger icons? What began as homage slowly became habit, and what once felt like respect turned into something people laughed at. His shout-outs weren't just harmless nods anymore. They became part of his brand. They shaped how the world saw him, and in some cases, how people judged him. From Dre to 50, from Pac to M, every story and every contradiction added another layer to how the public viewed the Game. Was he keeping it real or just embellishing? Fans were left debating nonstop. The more he spoke, the more heat came his way. Every line got dissected. Every flex weighed against his history and his actions. It left people asking the real question. Where does fact end and fabrication begin? And that's the heart of it all. Game's legacy. Is it built on his undeniable talent or on the narratives he weaves around himself? Truth is, it's both. His career is a wild mix of skill, influence, and complex storytelling. A legacy made of contradictions where fact and myth constantly collide, keeping fans guessing, arguing, and hooked on the man behind the music. So what do you think? Is the Game a legend or just a master of rewriting his own story? Drop your thoughts below. Don't forget.
Yeah, man, that was a good one right there, man. That's crazy, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I think his story just show you, man, respect and character go a long way, man, for real, though. And he displayed a lot of bad character, man, for real, though, man. Sometimes when you fall out with people or feel some kind of way, man, just go your way sometimes, you know what I mean? And maybe y'all can fix that in the future or something. But yeah, man, it just seemed like he didn't turn on everybody and then start talking about everybody. So yeah, man, he just burnt them bridges, man. So yeah, man, it seemed like nobody don't want to deal with him like that. And yeah, man, if they had a G-Unit reunion with him or something, man, that would have been big. If Dre started working with him again or something too, that would have been big. But he been burning them bridges. Nobody want to work with him, man. So yeah, man, I think he destroyed himself with bad character, man, for real though, man. It's crazy too, because man, the Game good ass rapper, man. He make good music and everything, man, for real. Gotta give him that, man. man. I think his only flaw probably really is his character, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. You watching the Big Bomber TV. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. Until next time. All right.